This weekend is the Msuna Island fishing competition, and since Karry's parents, my mother and father-in-law, are the manager and manageress of this resort, we've been planning for a while now to come up here and spend some time with family, help out with the competition, and just relax and unwind, enjoy some good company, see some old friends, enjoy some good food, and just chill away from the hustle and bustle of the city. So it was that at 5 AM on Wednesday morning, myself, Karry, and our good friend Matt woke up, had a cup of tea, then packed the car and began the journey out here. Now we've also got two cats, Moogle and Chimera. Moogle is pretty good at travelling. He sits quite comfortably in his cat carrier, tends to just sleep the whole way. Chimera, on the other hand, she gets travel sick, she gets a little bit antsy when she's in an enclosed space, so most of that journey I have her sitting on my lap and I'm fussing this very poorly cat who is just not happy to be there. Don't worry though, once they get here they've got a beautiful window box that they both love to sit in and watch the lizards and birds and the people come and go past. The journey itself is fairly uneventful. It's about 4.5 hours from Bulawayo to Wangi, mostly just going down straight roads, give or take the potholes, alongside just trees and thick scrubland either side. That said, it's always nice to see any of the developments that are going on. Going past Lapana University is always fairly fun to see some of the comings and goings there. And as we came through Wangi this time, there's been a whole new development on one of the collieries just outside of town. This massive sprawl of accommodation buildings has just sprung up seemingly in the last month since we were here. That was really cool to see, along with some new shops and fast food stuff just on the outskirts of town too. The whole journey takes about 5 to 6 hours, give or take, and on hitting Wangi, the temperature suddenly hit us. It's been fairly warm in Bulawayo recently. October is the hottest month of the year, and I tend to struggle regardless, just because I'm British, I'm not used to that heat. But hitting Wangi, that temperature just spiked. Wednesday afternoon, honestly, it sat at about 40 degrees Celsius, and remember, we're right on the river here, so that is humid heat. Yesterday was a little bit cooler, hitting about 37, 38, and then today again it's gone right back up to 40 and I'm, really quite suffering in this heat. Wednesday afternoon after we arrive is pretty much a chill and relax affair. Karry has done that entire drive on her own. She gets car sick if she sits in the back, so she prefers to just drive until she's there. That means I'm sitting in the back, just looking after the cats, Matt's in the front in control of the radio and making sure that Karry's topped up on food and drinks, but by the time we get here, we're all pretty knackered. It's just a case of sit down, have a cup of tea, unpack, say hi to everyone and have a little bit of a catch-up, then crash for the rest of the afternoon. At least that's what the original plan was until the power went out. We're still not entirely sure what happened, but somewhere between here and Binga, there was a fault on the line, possibly a downed pole, so the Zimbabwe Electrical Supply Authority, or ZESA, came out to sort that out. We were really hoping that that would be back nice and quickly, because without ZESA, we have no air conditioning, and the few fans that we can run on the generator that we have here were just not enough. They didn't deliver. This meant that Wednesday night, we were all just sprawled out in bed, sweating and no sleep whatsoever. Thursday morning then, we woke up very groggy and tired. It had been a very restless night, what with no air conditioning. In this heat, those rooms become a hot box that is just humid and sticky. The fan was just circulating warm, thick air around the room, and we barely slept at all. That said, it wasn't about to let us get our mood down. We knew we had some friends coming up from Victoria Falls that we haven't seen since last year. Friends that Karry and I made back when they worked at Gorge's Lodge, the lodge where Karry and I first met each other. And it was fantastic to see them and get to catch up. People like Vusa and Jaffet, who were the chefs there and have come here to assist with catering as well. That always makes me very excited because they are very good at what they do. So we spent most of the day walking around the island helping to prepare for the fishing competition, getting the keep net bar set up with speakers, making sure all the drinks are ready, getting the cool room back online and everything sorted there, and watching Jaffet and Vusa get set up for that night's catering. Now the first night this time was going to be a curry, and they did a fantastic curry last year, so to say that I was excited about this would be a little bit of an understatement. I was very much looking forward to this curry, and they didn't disappoint. We watched them get set up, get the big poiki all in place. Now poiki's like a massive iron cauldron that they're going to be cooking this curry in. So they got this set up, started to slow cook it, we prepared the rest of the island, and the fishermen started coming in for the competition. That evening, we're still hoping for Zeta to be coming back. Chris, Karry's dad, has gone off out with Zeta to see if he can't try and find this fault. He was gone for a couple of hours, and eventually we finally get confirmation, yes, they found the fault, we just need to get everything fixed and back online. And sure enough, later that evening, we did indeed have power. Hallelujah, aircon back online. I was very happy at this point in time, let me tell you. Now, just after that, we get the call that dinner is now ready, so we've gone through and that poiki is bubbling beautifully. Grab a plate, ladle it up with some rice, ladle it up with some curry, some poppadoms, some of Chris's special chili sauce. That man is crazy. He loves his hot food and he just goes all in on it, but it comes out so flavorful and I just cannot get enough of it. So I'm spooning this onto my dinner plate and sweating, but enjoying the flavor fantastically. The fisherman crowd, they can get pretty rowdy in the evening. They enjoy having a few drinks and celebrating, meeting up with some old friends. It's all in the name of conservation as well, which is a really good thing. All of the proceeds go towards various different conservations, like anti-poaching with national parks along the river here and save the tiger fish, amongst other things. Eventually, I will do a video on all this as well. They also have some really cool rehabilitation programs going here, where Chris is breeding fish in a tank just off to the side. We were actually here a couple of months ago, and they were just scooping some of those adult fish out of that, putting them back into the river. I took some footage of that, which I should have on screen now. It was really cool to see. We were last here in September, and the water, I can show you how high it was, because I took photos, I took videos. 1 month later, it is astonishing to see how much the water has dropped. Now, if you think about how wide that river actually is, the volume of water that is missing it blows my mind to even think about it. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Firstly, we just didn't get all that great rains out here last year. And even further upriver in places like Angola, the rains just weren't that great. The river has been lower this year than it has been many previous years. Secondarily to that, at Kariba Dam, they're currently renovating a lot of the walls there, rejuvenating, repairing those walls. So they've had to let a lot of the water out of Kariba Lake, which has again naturally dropped that river even lower. This does have some concerns further down the line for perhaps power shortages later in the year here in Zimbabwe, and for the wildlife as well. It's had a few knock-on effects here and there. In this example, most notably that those fish that we put into a little pool that was an inlet just off to the side of the river, that has literally become a pond that has all but dried up, and the fish have basically been picked off by birds. But hey, we pick up and off we go again. But anyway, back to Thursday and dinner. Poiki just made the meat so soft and tender, ate very well, crawled back into bed just as the Zessa came back, just as we got our electricity back. We had aircon. Happy Benzie. And that brings us to today, Friday. Beautiful night's sleep in a fully air-conditioned room. We awoke nice and rejuvenated. Hungry though, we headed straight to the bar where Vussa and Enoch had prepared breakfast. Bacon, scrambled eggs. My ma had put together some almost burger-like meatball constructions that were just absolutely divine, beautifully peppery, hint of onion in there, absolutely perfect, and what a breakfast it was. I then helped Chris out at the point, which is the very edge of the island, helping with the weigh-in of the fish, but we've got things like tigerfish, vundu, barbel, bream. These guys are having a whale of the time, and it's all helping towards conservation. Now, that's one of the things I love about Masuna as well. This place isn't just beautiful, it's not just a chill place to relax and go fishing, they're also heavily involved in that conservation side of things. This entire fishing tournament is there just to help fund and raise money for national parks and wildlife who are out there with an anti-poaching team, making sure they're cutting nets from people poaching fish out of the river. Let's pause here a second. During the edit, I realised that I needed to add some clarity and some context to this, because I know some people are going to say, hang on Benzie, it's their river, surely people should be allowed to fish to feed their family, etc. And agreed, no one is disagreeing with that. The issue that national parks and wildlife have, and why the anti-poaching team is here, is for people who are putting nets across the entirety of the river and trawling hundreds of fish out of it in one go. First of all, because this is just not sustainable. They're not doing this to feed their family, they're doing this to profiteer, and that is taking fish out of the river and destroying that ecosystem. It also means that anyone else further down the river has no fish left and has to go to people A, higher up the river, in order to buy the fish from them. That is the problem that national parks and wildlife have. That is what the anti-poaching is set up to do, and it's also why Msuna Island is involved in these rehabilitation projects with things like the tilapia in order to restock the bream from previous poaching. Hope that clarifies things. There's just so much going on out here, and I just really wanted to showcase this island to you all and show you just how beautiful it is. This isn't actually my mother's house that I'm sitting at here. This is one of the lodges that they rent out. You can hear the cows and the cattle here in the distance, the cowbells. This is literally communal land right here. You can see little farms and homesteads off up in the hills in the distance, and they work here. This island helps support that community with gardeners, with the shop workers. I'll kind of end this video off by saying that I'm still loving the support that I've had from every single one of you watching these. It really does mean so much to me. I have had a few comments of obviously me being British and there being a certain difficulty in the past with England and Zimbabwe. To paraphrase one gentleman telling me to go home, back to England, haven't the English stolen enough? And I just want to say to that but the money that I earn, I spend back into that community. Those shops are all earned by people born and bred in Zimbabwe. The businesses that I work with, the places that I just get my stuff sent from the UK from when I can't source it locally, it's all done by Zimbabweans. Pretty much every cent I earn goes straight back into this country, and I'm proud of that. I love this place dearly, both Zimbabwe and Masuna, and hopefully this has been a nice little insight into Masuna for you. I will be gathering some more footage this afternoon and tomorrow, and as we go on, we'll, cover a little bit more of this, and maybe next week I'll have another video about Masuna, or, as inspired by this heat, I thought I might also do 5 things that I struggle with as a Brit in Zimbabwe. You guys seem to enjoy the 5 things I love, so the 5 things I struggle about, a little bit tongue-in-cheek, not entirely too serious, should be good fun. Anyway folks, once again, thank you for watching, thank you for all of your support. If you do want to go the extra mile to help support content like this, I do have a Patreon page. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you all next time.